Hello my friends and welcome to the Electric Viking. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate your support a lot. It means a lot to me. BYD is planning to take down Tesla. Well, that's what some media outlets have been claiming. And is this true? Is BYD planning to take down Tesla? Or is BYD actually planning to take down Toyota, Ford, General Motors, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Subaru, Honda, Mazda, and that's just the start. Cars Guide in Australia claims that BYD plans to take down Tesla here in Australia. Now, as many of you know, Chinese EV maker BYD is planning a full frontal assault on Australia's EV market, with the brand to launch 6 new models by the end of 2023. Those models include SUVs, city cars, and even a ute, or what you Americans call a pickup truck. Now, they plan on becoming a top 5 brand in the Australian market. Cars Guide claims that this is a big goal, a very optimistic goal, a very lofty goal, and says that, for example, Mitsubishi finished 5th in the sales race in Australia with almost 70,000 vehicles sold, but BYD says a combination of attractive vehicles, attractive pricing, and Australian input into design and engineering will help them get there. Well, BYD just sold 60,000 new energy vehicles in China in the month of August. In one country, they sold 60,000. And BYD's sales have gone up massively. In fact, over 200% in the first 6 months of this year versus last year. Now, is it really a lofty goal? Is it really optimistic that BYD should become a top 5 automaker in Australia? Absolutely not. In fact, it's probably a pessimistic, low-level goal. If I'm honest, I think realistically they have a chance to become a top 3, potentially top 2 automaker, auto seller, whatever you want to call it, in Australia. That is the realistic possibility for BYD. Because, believe it or not, our consumers, most of them, don't actually want a petrol or a diesel vehicle. They know it's old tech. They know they've been told that ICE sucks, that there are so many benefits to battery-powered vehicles. And I'm not just talking about being green here. I'm talking about being green and all the practical benefits that come with a car that doesn't give you cancer, that come with a car that gives you incredibly cheap running costs, that come with a car that gives you the ability to not go to a petrol station, to plug it in at night, to run it on solar power, to not pay when you brake, to have the battery charge when you brake, to not need to get new discs and new calipers all the time, to not need your car to be serviced constantly, to not have to go through engines every 300,000 kilometers or 250,000 kilometers. There are so many reasons that a battery car is better, right? I could go on and on and on forever. BYD can already produce a battery-powered car, right? A battery electric vehicle at the same price as an ICE vehicle. They're the only company in the world that can do that, for good reason. They're the most vertically integrated company on the planet. Now, as many of you know, I own Tesla stock. I'm not some BYD homer here. Facts are facts, and let's face them. BYD is the company that are the most capable of anyone on the planet of dominating in any country that they choose. And Australia, they have chosen. Therefore, it will happen. Now, remember, this is not, I'm going off precedent here. There is a precedent. The MG ZS EV is frankly pretty average. It's a pretty average electric vehicle, and it costs $40,000. Its range is 200 kilometers, right? Well, BYD will be bringing in an SUV of the same size that'll cost, in fact, it'll cost 20% less and have a much longer range, have a much better battery. BYD's Blade battery and their new architecture is class leading. It is absolutely next level technology. And the reason is they've done a lot of work, a hell of a lot of work to make sure it is. Remember, their batteries will last at least 1 million kilometers. And they'll be able to be used in many other purposes after the wheels have fallen off the car, so to speak. Now, I already know of people here in Australia who are buying batteries from BYD buses that are second-hand to use in energy storage because the batteries are so good that once the bus is dead, you can still use the batteries. That's what I'm talking about. Now, what also has to be part of this equation is the distributor in Australia has to be good at what they do. Now, so far, Nextport, Australia's distributor for BYD, has been good and bad. Their communication has been frankly poor with people who are approaching them. I think because they're getting so many people approaching them that they're not capable of handling all the inquiries well, and they need to improve on that level. But this company is backed by $800 million worth of investment. They are not some small little family team here, guys. They are very serious and they know what they're doing. I can tell you now, this company is going to make sure BYD succeeds in the country. Now, Luke Todd is the CEO of Nextport, the distributor for BYD, and he says that their agreement with BYD is much more than a simple distribution agreement. They're doing way more than distributors like Toyota's distributor or Ford's distributor here in Australia. Their actual influence in this whole experience is incredibly impressive, and it's one that I haven't seen ever happen before. Now, they've actually set up production lines in China, in BYD's factories, to produce these cars in right-hand drive for the Australian market. Now, that is a level of dedication that we had never seen before from an Australian distributor. Now, Todd says, given the fact we'll have 6 models by the end of 2023, our belief is that in the next 2.5 years period, there's no reason we can't be a top 5 auto retailer in that period of time. That includes the fact we'll have a pickup or a ute in that period. Well, if you don't know this already, the top 2 best-selling vehicles in this country are both pickup trucks, both utes. In fact, the largest segment of vehicle sales in this country are pickup trucks or utes. Now, I can tell you now, I've had that many people ask me over the last 6 months, how can I buy an electric pickup truck? How can I buy an electric ute? Will I be able to buy one? When can I buy one? There is enormous anticipation. There is enormous demand, pent-up demand for an electric ute. And when BYD bring out their electric ute, as they most certainly are, the wait list will be longer than you can possibly imagine. Now, Todd says, this is a true collaboration. We've invested in the BYD business in China, which gives us our own production line to produce high-volume right-hand drive vehicles. So it's very different to a distribution agreement. Now, have you ever heard of a distributor anywhere doing this kind of thing? Especially for a company in a country where there's only 25 million people? We've invested in the BYD business in China, which gives us our own production line to produce high-volume right-hand drive vehicles. That is next level. Now, he says we have our own production lines input into design features and into the vehicles to make sure they're at the most appealing for the Australian market. They're even re-engineering parts of them to change them to make them suitable for Australian buyers. So, the BYD story will begin in Australia in October or November. In fact, it's already begun. They're already selling their vehicles here now. You can buy a BYD van and you can buy a BYD MPV, both full electric vehicles at insane prices. Have a look on the evdirect.com.au website. You'll see the prices there. Now, when the brand unveils the new Yuan Plus in Australia, which is a really good looking small to medium sized SUV that sits somewhere between a Kia Seltos and a Mazda CX-5, BYD will officially arrive in this country in a very big way. Now, even though it is technically a little bit smaller on the outside than a CX-5, the interior is significantly bigger. That's a huge benefit. Now, the Yuan Plus is powered by an electric motor expected to produce 150 kilowatt and 300 newton meters. And its driving range will be over 500 kilometers from its 60 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate blade battery. Now, Mr. Todd says the pricing will be around $40,000. So it's going to give you more than twice as much range as the incredibly hot selling MG ZS EV. More than twice as much range, right? The MG ZS EV has just gone up in price. It's now gone over 40,000. So this Yuan Plus, which looks much better than the MG ZS EV, which is selling like crazy in this country right now, will be bigger, cheaper, have more than double the range, have the new lithium iron phosphate blade battery, which will give you well over 1 million kilometers, and just be a much better car overall. And yet, you'll be paying less for it than an incredibly popular EV in this country right now. Do you think that could be the number one selling vehicle in its class? Whether it's right or wrong, there's been anxiety around range in Australia, which is why we've committed to any vehicle badged with BYD to deliver a 450 kilometer real-world driving range, and that's to instill confidence in the transition to electric vehicles, said Luke Todd, the CEO. The N Plus will be an extremely attractive vehicle, extremely well refined, with great range outcomes of 500 kilometers plus, and really in that sweet spot of being a high-riding SUV that's very attractive to a broad range of people. At $40,000, I am going to buy one. Hopefully, they'll give me a bit of a discount, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe that's not a good idea. Got to stay impartial. Now, as I said, it will be $40,000, and for the quality of vehicle, the range outcome, and what it will offer in terms of charging speed and safety, it will be a top 5 selling vehicle in Australia as long as BYD can supply the cars. Now, the N Plus will be followed in mid-2022 by a larger vehicle, thought to be the successor to the current Chinese market Han, which is a sedan currently. But apparently this new successor will be a high-riding muscle-style performance vehicle. So I don't know what BYD are doing to the Han. I'm fascinated to see. Apparently it's going to be released within the next few months. So as soon as it's released, I'll be making a video and you'll be the first to hear about it. Now, as many of you know, the most important car for the world market, in my view, is the BYD EA1 or the Dolphin, which is a Toyota Corolla-sized city car that delivers a 450 kilometer real-world driving range in Australia and will cost around about 30,000 Australian dollars or around about 23,000 US dollars. While it might be actually a little bit smaller than a Toyota Corolla on the outside, it's much bigger on the inside. And it's going to sell like crazy in Australia. I know numerous numbers of people who are waiting for this vehicle. I can't wait to see it in the country. Now, also in the cards before the end of 2023 is BYD's Toyota Hilux or Ford Ranger rivaling EV Ute pickup truck, which is still under development. But in addition to that is the successor to the Chinese market BYD Tang, along with a 6th vehicle, which we don't know what that is yet. So 6 vehicles coming to our market, and all of them in niches where there is a huge amount of demand right now. Now, critical to BYD's plans is an online sales model in Australia with no physical dealerships, with servicing and maintenance to be white labelled by a yet-to-be-announced national vehicle maintenance company, with the vehicle's onboard logistics and diagnostics to alert customers when it's time for servicing or repairs. All our transactions will be online, but we see investment beyond that in engaging with our customers in more meaningful ways, be it through ongoing communications, benefits, and effectively being part of the BYD club. There's a whole lot of stuff we'll be announcing, said Mr. Todd, CEO. We're in negotiations with a well-known entity as our service partner. It's not like you buy the car and never hear from us. It's the complete opposite. We see our relationship continuing right through to when you want to move on from that vehicle. Now, we'll have a whole range of capabilities where customers are going to be able to touch and feel the vehicles and have a test drive, and we'll announce those soon. Now, on the subject of servicing, Nextport is yet to detail its warranty promise, but has flagged a potential lifetime warranty on its batteries, a lifetime warranty, as well as the potential to upgrade those batteries without having to upgrade the car. It's better than what people are going to be thinking, but it's going to be very comprehensive. Now, as many of you know, BYD have already broken through the US $100 per kilowatt hour mark in battery production costs. They're down to $93 per kilowatt hour. Now, that's the threshold for EVs to achieve purchase price parity with ICE vehicles. Add to that low dealership costs or none, mass market competition is about to commence, and BYD will absolutely dominate the Australian market. But remember, BYD aren't only coming to Australia. New Zealand is in their sights, UK, and Europe. They're not going to just dominate the Australian market. They're going to dominate all of those markets. And that's going to happen within the next 3 years. Now, BYD are already dominating the Chinese NEV market, new energy vehicle market. That means PHEVs, battery electric vehicles, and hybrids. And the percentage of EVs that BYD sell continues to increase every single month. In fact, it's nearly doubled as a percentage of their vehicle sales this year. Now, the most popular comment on the carsguide.com.au website was this. I know I'm going to share it with you because I think you should hear it. It was written by Dave Colertus. Now, Dave has bravely shared with us his full name. I suspect that's his full name. So, if you know a Dave Colertus, well, you can have a good laugh. Now, we basically have less than 1% EV penetration into Australia. Please stop this moronic journalism that other EV companies are in competition with Tesla and will take away their sales. You just want to use Tesla in the headline for clickbait, which is lazy and manipulative and is hurting EV adoption. There is plenty of room and demand for every EV, and the real competition is to displace ICE sales with ASAP. Tesla is the iPhone of EVs with tech, efficiency, performance, infrastructure, and ecosystem, and will have no trouble selling every EV they make for over a decade. That's a long way into the future, over a decade. Dave, I'm invested in Tesla. It sounds like you might be too, but I don't even say things over a decade away. That's talking 2031, 2032. I'm not so sure that's true. Now, will Tesla be successful in Australia? Absolutely. But Tesla is not really going for the full market the way that BYD is in Australia. I think BYD will be a much bigger player than Tesla in Australia. Like I said, most of my portfolio is invested in Tesla, so I'm not being biased here. I'm just telling the truth. BYD are coming after our market with 6 models, six different models. Now, in Australia here, really, let's be honest, Tesla really only have 2 models. Not even, they only have 1 right now, the Tesla Model 3. I mean, the Tesla Model S and the Model X are just out of the price capacity of 99% of our buyers here. So that's just a niche, high value market, which obviously BYD is going, their 6 models are going for the market that 95% of people can afford. They're covering the low-cost vehicles. They're covering the Ute, which will be a mid-cost vehicle, but it's the number 1 selling car in the country. They're covering affordable SUVs. Now, the Tesla Model 3 costs $60,000. It's a fantastic car, and I'd love to own one. Fantastic car, but most people can't afford a $60,000 to $90,000 EV. That's why BYD will dominate this market, because most car sales, most people can afford a vehicle that costs between $25,000 and, well, up to $60,000. That's the period. That's the market they're going for, $25,000 to $60,000 with their 6 models. All 6 models will be priced within that range. That means what? 95% of people can afford them. Now, while there is tremendous demand for Tesla vehicles here, for Tesla to continue to compete with BYD, they'll have no choice but to either bring prices down or accept having a smaller market share, which is not a problem. Not a problem at all. If Tesla has, say, 10% market share of the EV market worldwide, that is millions of cars. And maybe that's what Tesla would be happy with. But Tesla need to get their Model 2 or their cheaper $25,000 model to market as soon as possible if they do want to compete with a company like BYD, because that is, like I've explained, a different price segment. Now, I hope you've learned something from the video. If you've got any questions about what I've talked about BYD coming to Australia, about BYD in Europe, anything like that, jump on our socials or just put a comment in the comment section below. And if I see it, there's lots of comments, so I may not, but if I see it, I'll try and get back to you. Thanks for watching the video. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Remember, this is all good news. The world is getting better. Bye-bye.